Made it. I was 1 minute late. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I was 1 minute late. My bad, my bad, my bad. We'll get here though. We'll get here though. Let's let you guys get in. I'm actually really excited tonight. You guys are going to see raw, authentic spazzing. Well, not spazzing, but man, I've been really flirting with this idea of covenantal government. It's not fully fleshed out yet, but I think we're good. What's up, Freedom? I like that handle. Freedom, what's up, man? What's up, Freedom? I don't think I'll need the light tonight because it's not that dark. We're up a little bit more. But we'll get on here. Man, maybe I should have kept it at 9, bro. Maybe I should have kept it at 9. What's up? What's up? What's up? We're going to jump into it. We always start 5 minutes after the time. It's 7:02 my time. So we'll get started right at 7:05. Come on in. Everybody comes in. Apparently, I got subscriptions now, so we're going to talk about that in a second. What's up, Soggy Chicken? I love that name. Soggy Chicken. That's a great name. I need my key. Let's go get keys. Let's go get keys. Shirley, what's up, Shirley? Hey, let me know which video you guys saw. I think most people found me through the white supremacy video. But let me know which. We're talking about covenantal government today. We're talking about life after. Yeah, noodles. Let me see my kids. We're talking about covenantal government tonight. So covenantal government is my idea of what should come after all this debacle. So I'm kind of excited. It's not fully fleshed out, but I want to bring it to the people because at the end of the day, we want a pro-human society. We want a movement by the people for the people. And I think that covenantal government is our way out. But again, we know that we have a 250-year lie that is falling apart right before our very eyes. And so it's scary. It's kind of crazy times that we live in. But what a lot of people got to understand is that even in these crazy times, there's opportunity in chaos. And in chaos, that is the time where all the rules get rewritten. And the rules are going to be rewritten by somebody, guys. After this mess, somebody's going to rewrite the rules. Somebody's going to say this is what we should do. Or somebody's going to come along and act like we should all just go back to whatever it was. But 1 more minute. Thank you guys for showing up nice and early. What's up, Sandra? Catfish Hunter. Carmen, what's up? What's up? What's up? Thompson, what's up? I love Mads. I like reading you guys' handles. You guys got some fun handles. I feel like we got to get rid of the GOP. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I definitely hear what you're saying. I think the Republicans screwed themselves. I don't think the Republicans have a party anymore. I think they handed it over to Trump. And it's like, what are conservative values right now, bro? Like, y'all don't objectively stand for anything except power. And I think that's what all of this is revealing about all our politicians. They don't stand for nothing but power. But, all right, it is 7:05, so we're going to go get started. What's up, Lily? Thank you guys for showing up. Thank you guys for the likes. Man, you guys been showing out. Welcome to our National Unity Conference. We do these things weekly. Or not weekly. We do these things nightly. 7 p.m. We're just coming together. I'm trying to unite the people, okay? For those of you guys, it's your first time. My name is Gabe the Great. Let's see if I can find the front page of my manifesto. Here it is. Gabe the Great. If you guys are following me, you guys know that I've been reading this, the Overman's Manifesto. It is a theory for everything and a manual for American leadership. So over here, we are recognizing what we are in. We are recognizing that this is the Second American Revolution. All right, guys, there's no way around it. You might want to bury your head in the sand and hope that is something different. You're living through a revolutionary time period. You're living through unprecedented times. What's happening right now, they're going to look back and go, that's not normal. That is not healthy. That's not how a society should function. We are living in a very, very difficult, weird time. We're living in a revolutionary time period. And so what I've been doing, I've been reading my manifesto. I've been reading my manifesto, and a lot of you guys have been following it. So we started to do these national unity conferences where it's like, listen, guys, this is a pro-human manifesto expressing our desire to build a pro-human society. We do not have a pro-human society right now. We are too divided. We are divided along party lines. We are divided along race. We are divided along gender. We are divided along class. We're divided along everything. And we all know all the division does is gives the people that we don't want power more power. Like, we know it. Like, we can talk about the problem. The issue is, can we come together with a solution? And so I came up with this. I wrote this so that this could be the voice of the collective. The Overmen's Manifesto. Feel free to go link in my bio. You can download you a copy. It's free. I'm giving it away for free. But good news. I got subscriptions now. I'm gonna be honest, I still don't know how live subscription works on TikTok. But so if you guys want to join, there's 3 tiers. Go ahead, look at that. Go ahead, join if you want to. I put up another video today about how you can support. But let's get into what I want to talk about today, okay? So I want to talk about covenantal government. And this is going to be fun because I'm going to be honest, I haven't fully flushed out the idea, which is why I think it's cool that you guys are here, because we can flush it out together and we can really talk about it, okay? So if you've been reading my manifesto, or if you've been, watching me, you know that a big part of what I see right now happening is that the 250-year-old lie that is the United States of America is crumbling before our very eyes. Words don't have meaning anymore in our society. People are just lying for the sake of lying just for the sake of controlling power. I think that information has made it very hard to believe the lies of the past. And I think that goes across all sectors of society: culture, religion, government, everything. I think we have so much information now that we are now coming hardcore into terms with, man, we've really built civilization on a bunch of lies. But in that, what I try to help people to see, we're about to get to the truth section of the manifesto, is I think that we have this idea of like, things have to go this way. Things have to be this way. And if things are not this way, then something is broken. Something's wrong, right? This is how we all think. This is how, someone on the right thinks. It's got to be this way. And if it's not this way, you're wrong. And someone on the left goes, it's got to be this way. And it's not this way, you're wrong. And then someone of this religion goes, it's got to be this way. And then we just go back and forth. And we all are so convinced that we all got it together. Like we know, right? And the problem is, I believe our country was not founded in honesty. I don't believe or at least our Constitution. I don't believe our Constitution was drafted in honesty. I don't believe our Constitution was drafted with in integrity. I think our Constitution was drafted to consolidate power. I think the Revolutionary War was really a war for 13 independent republics. And I'm not saying we need to go back to 50 independent states. I think that would be foolish. But I think that the Constitution, in a very real way, institutionalized white supremacy, institutionalized patriarchy, institutionalized a lot of things that over the course of human history has hurt us. And I think that because it's so consumed with power, like if you just read the Constitution, there's no spiritual depth to it at all. It's mainly just about structure. And I think we've really tried to sell it like liberty, justice, freedom, and da-da-da. And it's like, it doesn't really go deep into that. And if you really look into it, the Constitution is very clear. It's for a small class of people. So we want to come up with a pro-human society. We recognize that all the isms do nothing but divide us. We know all the parties do nothing for divide us. And division is a way for you to consolidate power. And so we're coming together going, we don't want to be divided. And what we figured out is that we've got to build the best possible society for the most number of American children. That's what we're here to do. We have to focus on the children because they can't divide us amongst children, right? Because the parents of the black child wants the same thing that the parents of the white child wants, the same thing of the Christian child, the same thing of the rich, the same thing of the poor. They can't divide us amongst the children. And if they can, we got way bigger issues, okay? And they will, and they try, and they do. We see it all the time with trans issues and this, and they try to and that's why even those things feel like really viscerally disgusting, because it's like, why are we weaponizing kids, right? And so it's one of these things where we're being the stopgap and going, hey, what we're doing right now is not working for all of us, but particularly the most vulnerable parts of us, okay? So covenantal government, let's get into that. What covenantal government does is it is completely reimagines what government is, okay? It completely reimagines the purpose of government, and it completely reimagines government going forward. Right now, government is really, really, really concerned with law. What is the law? What does the law say? How do we, if you look at our three branches of government, they all have to do with law. Congress writes the law. The judicial branch interprets the law, and the executive branch enforces the law. It's all about law. And so you ask yourself, okay, why are we so concerned with law? Well, there was an assumption during the Enlightenment period is that without law, men are beasts. And it goes further back. I think that really came from Socrates. But there's this idea that without law, men are beasts. That if you don't write things into code, and if you don't say don't do this, people are going to do what they don't or what they shouldn't do. And I'm going to completely and totally push back on that. And the reason why I'm going to push back on that is you guys. You guys have proven to me that that's not true. And here's what I mean by that. Whether you know now or you're going to figure out in a few weeks from now, Donald Trump rigged the 2024 election. Okay, the 2024, you did not vote Donald Trump in. Even if you're MAGA, you did not vote Donald Trump in. Even if you're MAGA, you did not vote Donald Trump in. Your vote was rigged. Okay, he rigged the 2024 election, and whether you know that now or you're about to find out in a few weeks, because there's this case in Rockland, New York, where they're finally someone brought it that the machines were messed with. And you can go on, there's videos you can look. They've been trying to, do this for a while. But the 2024 election was rigged, which means that since January 20th, 2025, we've been under what I would consider dictatorial rule, right? A lot of people don't understand, but every dictator wins their election. Putin has never lost an election in Putin hasn't lost an election in 20 years. Same thing with the guy from El Salvador. Right? The issue is not, do dictators win their elections? The question is, did we have a free and fair election? Was the election rigged? And it's going to come out here very soon that the election are rigged. But all that to say is that you guys have proven to me that when the government doesn't abide by the law, we will still be civil. We won't do reckless violence. As a matter of fact, when I turn on the TV, the most violence that I see is coming from the government. And if we take a step back and really look at the history of the country, a lot of the violence has come from the government. It hasn't come from the people. That what the government does is it tries to manipulate what we do, and it tries to change what we do, and it tries to control the narrative of what we do. So a peaceful protest becomes an insurrection, right? Or when the government incites an insurrection, that was just a peaceful, right? They do narrative building, and they change who we are. And it's like, wait, no. We, the people, do not engage in violence like that. We, the people, we don't steal like that. We don't kill like that. That's not what we do. Most humans don't do that. It's just we just don't. I don't walk around thinking about harming somebody. And most people on this live don't. We actually know from like sociology and different studies, we know crime is a function usually of wealth inequality and education. Like, we know that for a fact. We know why people commit crime, and it's not because of the law. And as a matter of fact, we know that people are not kept in check by the law, because if that was the case, everyone would have to know all the laws to be moral. And if that was the case, everyone would be a lawyer and nobody would need one. So the idea, right, that without law, men would be beasts, you guys are proving that wrong every day with your life. Every day you didn't commit a crime and you weren't thinking, oh man, I got to make sure I obey the law today, right? We are proof that that without law, we're not beasts. I believe the reason why law is so held in high standard and high regard is because if we go back and look at history, not just in America, but just the history of power itself, it seems to be the case, and we actually know this from studying power itself, that power attracts the worst kind of people, and the worst kind of people get in positions of power. Oh my gosh. See, look, okay, this is a perfect example. This is a perfect example of narrative control. I just got a thing from TikTok that said I got a warning because I'm talking about what I was just talking about. I'm not going to say it now because they warned me, right? But it's like, think about that. Why was one person able to say that 2020 wasn't free and fair, but if I say it right now, when there's evidence all over the place for it, now all of a sudden it's an issue, right? That's control. Whether that's, look, it's doing it again. I'm not even talking about it now, right? Like, I'm getting these warnings and I'm not even talking about stuff anymore. And so it's just one of these things where you can see it. You can see it's not us. It's not us who are seeking to break the law, right? I'm not trying to break. I'm getting warnings for not breaking the law right now. It's not us. We're not the ones who want to break the law. It's the people who want power. And the people who want power like to write their fear into law. They like to write their fear in the law and to get the rest of us afraid of the law. And what I've realized is this. When we imagine heaven, when we imagine a utopia, we're imagining a lawless place. We're imagining a place where we don't need laws. We're imagining a place where we don't need government. In a very real way, we all kind of want the government out of our lives. Like, we don't want to have to think about the government. Like, I genuinely believe government works best is when we're not all talking about them. If we have to protest, it's because government is not doing their job. If we are divided along party, like it used to be, you wouldn't bring up politics because it was just like, just don't do it. Like, for what? Like, that's their job. And it just caused division, right? That's how our country used to be. Our country used to be like that, right? But now it's not like that. And so what I began to realize is that when we think about these places, or utopia, heaven, we're thinking about lawless places where we don't need law, places where everyone around us is so good that we don't have to worry about law. And then I start to realize that I was like, wait, I'm not afraid of my neighbor. My neighbor is not what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid for a tyrant with power. That's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that if I go into the courtroom, the courts aren't going to apply the law as is. I'm afraid that the law is just going to move and shift. That's what I'm afraid of. That's what we're afraid of. We're usually not afraid of our neighbor. Even when you live in like certain areas of high crime, it's usually a small subsection of people that you're really afraid of. But you're not really afraid of most people. And so what covenantal government does is it takes this idea that says, okay, we need law. And it says we're doing something different now. We're no longer seeing government as the thing that wrestles with law, that wrestles with the rules. We are now going to see government as a small subsection of people who have agreed to protect our values and fight against anti-human behavior. Because we talked about it. We want a pro-human society, a pro-human country that works for everybody, not just a few. And so what the government is the small subsection of people that come out from the collective and says, we're going to defend those values. We're going to defend those rights. We're going to uphold that. We're not going to sit here and, because that's what our government does right now. They just sit there and go back and forth about rules and policies. And all of us down here are like, yo, we're kind of suffering, right? Like we're suffering. Why are you arguing about this stuff when like we're suffering? And so what covenantal government does is it says that, hey, we are going to, the government is now going to be held to a moral standard. And another issue with our government is that we have this backwards idea that, our leaders, right, particularly how the law works in the United States of America, is very hard to sue the government. They're protected by all kind of rules and all kind of qualified immunity. It is very hard to hold people in positions of power accountable. But if you don't hold people in positions of power accountable, that's where all the people in positions of power accountable, that's where all the evil comes from. The evil doesn't come from not keeping the people in check. The evil comes from not keeping the people in power in check. And so what it does is this idea of where, okay, we are going to reimagine government in the way that leaders got to be held accountable, right? But we want to come up with systems that the best, most moral people get to the top. The best of our best, our brightest, right? Moral people get to the top. The best of our best, our brightest, right? Part of that is, I've been studying power for like the past year. Part of that is we got to elongate the path to power. Most Democrats and Republicans have been playing people for a long. Yep, I believe that. Force them with like GLT. It's all the system. Yeah, like I even see it now. Like when you see people talking, like I don't understand why people are talking policy right now. I feel like policy is the last thing we should be talking about. I feel like we should be talking about principles and the actual state of the country. Because right now you have people in government who just don't obey the law. Right? So what is law if the government's not, we don't have the rule of law. How do we have the rule of law when the people in government don't follow the law? Right? It's like if the people in government break the law, is there law? If the person, this is what I talk about a lot, is like, we got to protect against liars and manipulators and narcissists getting power. Because when they get power, it destroys the meaning of everything. Thank you. Rules for thee is getting old. Yeah, exactly. There's no more meaning. I talked about it last night. How do we look at our kids and say crime doesn't pay? How can I say that with a straight face? How can I go in my house and tell my daughters, yo, crime doesn't pay? And they turn on TV every day and they're watching crime pay, right? We've obstructed the meaning. What is law right now? What is law? If the people who are in charge of the law don't uphold it and they only weaponize it. So again, this idea that without, because it looks like it does, right? It's all for the purpose of manipulating and deceiving. That's it. So again, we talk about a lot, and I'm gonna be more interactive today. But again, we talk a lot about over here of like, take a step back and begin to question everything, not from like, tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist type, but really trying to get to an answer, not just questioning for the sake of questioning. Like, wait a second. What is the purpose of law right now? Like, the law is not stopping me. Like, yeah, maybe the law stops me from speeding. Okay. Right. But does it really? Okay. Yeah, it does. It probably does. The speed, like, I'm not saying like we get rid of all laws, right? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that it seems to be when we're thinking about utopia, when we're thinking about heaven, we're not thinking about a place with a perfect government. We're thinking about a place that doesn't have government. And so it seems to be the case that the ultimate goal, the ultimate utopia, is a lawless place. And I think that we've been trained to believe that lawlessness is always inherently bad. But as someone who I believe has been in a lawless country for a little bit now, it doesn't seem like the people, the regular everyday folks, are who I need to worry about in a lawless place. It seems like I need to worry about power-hungry people in a lawless place. When we get power-hungry people in a lawless place, yeah, that's bad. Now, again, I'm not saying throw out all laws, throw out anything. But I'm saying is that we got to attach moral consequence to the structure of government. We have no moral consequence to our government. If whoever's in power get to do what they want for as long as they want for the next, like, the law doesn't mean anything right now. It doesn't mean anything. And so that's a problem, right? That's a problem. And what I'm seeing is we, the people, are holding this country together in spite of the law. If the government had it their way, like, clearly we all would, like, what is their vision for us? What is the vision? Like, I don't believe people in government have a vision for you and me. We have to create a system where the people who actually love the country the most gets to positions of power. Because in order to lead in the United States of America, you have to lead people who aren't like you. You don't have a choice. As a black person, if I became a leader, I have to lead non-black people. As a man, I have to lead non-men. I have to lead people who are not like me, and I have to care about what they need and what they want. And the United States of America is a country that is built on, like, hardcore bigotry. And we can't just slap amendments on that and hope that things get better. So I want us to come together. I want us to start coming together and start going, okay, what are our values? What are the values that we're going to put down on paper? Matter of fact, let me ask you guys, what are some values you think we need to have in this country? What are some, like, values you would want your government to have, to live by, right? For me, I think vision is one. I don't want anybody in transparency, 100%. Man created laws and systems to hold each other accountable when we stop being small nomadic family. Yep. That's the other thing. I think that I think transparency is big. I think vision is big. Housing, healthcare, fair press. Yep. I believe that too. I believe, like, one of the value. I say it all the time. Why do we pay for food? Education. I didn't mention this. Education is going to be huge in covenantal government. Because covenantal government relies a lot upon people keeping their word, right? The lawless society, the society who isn't bound by laws, right? The society that isn't bound by laws, you're going to have to make sure that you have great education, because people need to discern when they're being manipulated, right? We have a huge issue in our country that we don't know when we are being manipulated. We don't know when they're just giving, or we do and we just don't care. And so it's a spiritual thing. It's a spiritual thing on both sides. And I think that's the other thing that constitutional laws is a flaw at. The power comes from the words, but the power doesn't come from words. Powers don't come from laws that we write down. Power comes from us. Power comes from us consolidating and giving deference to an institution. If we, the people, stop deferring to the institution no longer has power. And I think the only thing that's keeping these institutions up right now is our own collective consciousness, because the government is doing everything they can to destroy their own institutions. Big time. I think he's talking about education. Mistake number 5. I think he was saying that education's got to be a big one that we really go after in making sure we, have a solid country, or principles that we want the government to have. But what are some other principles you guys think? What are some other principles? I think education, I think healthcare, I think food, I think free press. I also think, like, the government should actually speak to the people too, not just the powerful, right? Housing, 100%. Yep. It's hard you can't self-actualize without education. I talked about in the manifesto, we actually need to reimagine public education from birth to death. It doesn't mean that everybody's in school forever, but I think we have a huge opportunity in, like, this. I think grifters have kind of messed it up, but like non-certified education, like online courses, I think we have a huge opportunity there, to where if someone can put together good online courses and they are really good, I think instead of just making those for personal gain, I think there's a way that we can create, like, a system where we are teaching each other. I think that's what we're trying to do through, like, academia. But it's been, that can be corrupted too. Housing representation. Yeah, I was thinking about that too. I definitely don't want to get rid of a system that takes away voting. I think voting is important. I think our votes have got to mean stuff, but we are in a time period where meaning is being voided, man. A lot of meaning is being voided, and it's due to how our leaders are living. And I think that's the other thing that constitutional law fails to see. Again, there's no spirituality to it. The how our leaders live matter. How our leaders represent themselves matter. And it's not just, we don't want them to say polite words to get through a bad news cycle. Like, we got to be able to trust you. We got to know that if I'm not thinking about my politician right now, he's doing the right thing for me. That's what trust is. And so I think that we also, when we start remaking our government, we also got to put onus on the people, because I think that's one of the flaws of the Constitution. It talks about all these things that structure in the government. Yes, public satisfaction. I want us to move towards direct democracy. I think a lot of issues can be solved with, we have the technology. I think a lot of issues can be solved with direct democracy. One of the things that I was thinking about is, I think that I like the idea, because, here's another thing I was thinking about. I was thinking about this idea of dictatorship and authoritarianism and authoritativeness, right? Think about the idea of God, right? God is a really fascinating idea because no one can prove that he exists or that he doesn't exist. Everyone either believes in him or they don't, right? But the concept of God is interesting because the concept of God is essentially a dictator, right? God, how most people believe in this monotheistic God, is he's a dictator. He tells you. The reason why you don't see God as a dictator is because you believe he loves you. And you believe that everything he does is for you, right? And so what that tells me about humans is that it's not that we fear absolute authority. It's that we fear any authority we can't trust. We want to self-actualize. And so if you put somebody else above us, we want to know that person, we can trust that person above us. So, grant above all authority, dictator used for appeals of authority by Christian office. Yeah, that's what it seems like. It seems like God is a dictator. And we are all one, separate like our body. I said that earlier, 100%. But yeah, it seems like people don't have a problem with the dictator necessarily. Even when you look at populism. What is populism? It's just a bunch of people who say, we want this guy, we want that guy, right? It's like people don't have a problem with one person being in charge. The issue is, how can we trust that person? Can we trust that person will do the right thing? Because that's what we're doing with representative democracy. I think we've been sold this bad bill of goods that if you just put a bunch of people up there, that you don't have to worry about corruption. But the devil's in the details. So the more you put up there, like, I think Congress is way too bloated. I mean, it was literally built for gridlock. So I think that it's very hard to get anything done in America without mass civil unrest. Because that's just the way the system is set up, right? You even think about the concept of protesting, right? Like, I don't get me wrong. Like, we need to be able to protest. But if you take a step back, you go, wait a second. If it's got so bad to the point of protesting and our government isn't listening to the protesting, we've missed the point. Like, we're off. And I think that we've got to recognize that the people who hate us, the people who want to oppress us, has been the one making the rules. And so we got to question all the rules. It doesn't mean that we're going to throw the baby out with the bathwater, but it means we're going to question every part of the bath. And we're going to make sure that, like, all right, we keep that. We can keep that. Ooh, that's bad. We got to do away with that. That's good. Maybe we can reimagine it. But that's what I want us to start thinking like. I want us to start, all of us to start thinking like, yo, we can't be afraid to question everything around here. We can't be afraid to question all the labels because it was given to us by people who weren't for us, right? It's easy for me to recognize that because I'm a black man, right? It's easy for me to recognize that this Constitution, the laws weren't written specifically for me. My father said the phrase God-fearing today, and my thought, bro, I can go in on God, bro. I can go in on particularly the way God is marketed today. It's totally, bro. All right, check this out, dog. Let me break this down for you. I totally believe that the way that people think about God today is an abusive, toxic relationship. It doesn't even make sense, bro. Underneath any other set of circumstances, the relationship that particularly American Christians have with God would be in an abusive, toxic relationship. Imagine you meet a woman, right? You meet a woman, y'all hitting it off. She's got a kid. Oh, you did an AI Jesus video recently? I got to see that. Imagine you meet a woman, she got a kid, right? You don't care, bro. Y'all hitting it off. Things are going great. Y'all been dating for a while. You love the kid loves you. You decide to propose to her, right? Boom. Awesome. Few weeks before the wedding, your future wife goes, hey, baby, I love you. I love you so much that I am going to have these people publicly execute my daughter to show you how much I love you. And so I want you to know that anytime you do something wrong, I want you to think about the time that I had these people publicly execute my daughter. And I want you to know that if you ever leave me, that I'm going to remind you that I'd sacrifice my daughter for you. And every time you treat me wrong, I'm going to remind you that I sacrificed my daughter for you. Bro, like underneath any other context, this is an absurd relationship. Like, why would I ever get into a relationship with that woman? Why would I ever get into a relationship with someone who thought sacrificing their child was a way to show me that they love them? Right? Why do I want to fear the person I'm in a relationship with? Right? Bro, yeah, right? That's what I said, bro. It's like, dog, like in any other context, this is crazy. Again, preaching is what got me to see this, bro. Like, I tell people this all the time. Jesus led me into a cult and Jesus led me out of a cult. I promise you, bro. I promise you. That's what happened to me, because it was just like, bro, when you start reading this from a 2025 perspective, you're like, okay, I can see why that makes sense in the first century, but like, we got therapists now, dog. Like, I could tell, like, these are not good terms to start a relationship with, right? You want me to believe, like, you are requiring me to believe that I'm a bad, sinful person, not capable of anything good besides you? Ladies, if you had a man who was like, hey, I want you to know you are incapable of doing anything good except through me. Ain't that the most abusive relationship you ever heard? But because it's God, I'm just supposed to be like, yeah, that's love. This is what I'm saying. Like, it distorts meaning. People don't realize it. People in their need for power, and also us in our need for certainty and order, we don't stop and go, wait a second. I tell people this all the time, bro. It's like, I'd have great conversation with Christians. I had a great conversation with a Christian this morning, and I think it's great. I tell people this all the time. Listen, if your God leads you to love, if your God leads you to peace and treating people better, swipe up, bro. Don't even keep worshiping your God. You are doing something right. You are doing something right. And I genuinely believe that if people actually followed Jesus, I genuinely believe the world would be a better place. I just don't see it in modern church today. I just don't see it. And I'm not going to keep indulging what I don't say. You showed me who you were. I believe you. But under every other under circumstance, these stories are like, fam, like, nah, bro. Like, I don't want to sit here and feel guilty every day of my life. I don't want to sit here and be reminded that somebody did something for me 2,000 years ago because I did whatever. Like, this is not a fun relationship, bro. As I tell people all the time, like, I don't want to spend an eternity with that God. Okay, maybe I'm wrong, man. Maybe I could be wrong. I'm okay with that. Based upon the values and beliefs that I've built in this lifetime, I just don't think that's a healthy relationship. I think we can get a better relationship with God. And it's why I started talking about it in the manifesto. I think God is nothing more than a pull upward. I think it's how we try to describe the void. I think it's how we try to describe the unknown. And I think that the gods of the past were perfect for them. I think Yahweh made perfect sense in the desert, a desert God for desert people. I think that makes sense. I think Jesus made sense in the first century. I think all these gods made sense during their time. I just think I'm born during a different time. And instead of clinging to the past, we need to start looking towards the future. Instead of getting so letting the present like mess with our nervous system, we need to have vision. So, I have Christian kids, atheist kid, yogi kid. Yeah. Keep space for everybody, man. I love that. I love that. And because I believe that's the pro-human society, man. Right? I love talking to, people who I know practice Christianity about morality. I love going back and forth. I want a society where we can debate the higher ideals. But that's not going to happen if we have these just horrible people. Anti-human people is what I call them. I'll call them anti-human people. Because bigotry makes no sense in my head, bro. Like, it doesn't make any sense to just hate somebody because of their existence. Right? Because of how they exist. Now, I fully understand hating someone for what they did to you, or hating someone for what they stand for and how that affects you. Yep, Jesus was cool, but weaponizing him has become commonplace for purity, politics, and dogma. You are 1,000% correct, Trey. Jesus is cool. I don't think none of us got a problem with Jesus. It's just the people who weaponize him. That's why I said, listen, if you weaponize him, like, I'm gonna fight back. Some people, listen, it's fight and flight, and I'm fight, man. I'm fight. I'm not flight. So if you're gonna weaponize them, we're fighting now, and I gotta win. I gotta survive. Survival of the fittest. But yeah, man. I think we're gonna get there, though. I think we're gonna get there, but we got. So that's what I wanted to come and talk to y'all tonight about. I wanted us to start throwing out this idea of like, wait a second, even the structure of government. Does it benefit us? Our government is overly concerned with laws, like overly. Like our government is not concerned with spirituality, and it's not about naming a religion. That's where a lot of people messed up with spirituality, because again, we are underneath this structure and this system that is so hardcore, trying to like rigidly put things and people into boxes, where spirituality is literally just supposed to be like, we're supposed to aim for higher ideals, and however we get that through whatever religious or non-religious methods, like how Greek society was, right? How Greek society was. My belief source showed up for different people in different ways, some beings, some different, yes, that makes sense to me. That makes total sense, right? Like I used to be a Christian. I'd be like, bro, God, if you wanted everybody to become Christians, like, why did you create Buddha? like you put it right there. Don't worship any other idols. But like, why are you creating the other idols? Like, wouldn't it just be like, why are you making it so difficult to know you? Why are you making it so difficult to be in a relationship with you? Right? And it's because it is humans. It is people who want control and power, trying to use the concept of God, trying to use the idea of God to control us. But I want us to begin to reimagine government, not just as a lawmaking system. Because right now, that's how we mostly view law all around the world, or mostly view government all around the world. It's a lawmaking system. So our three branches of governments are to write the law, interpret the law, and enforce the law. Divide and conquer is strategic for the powerful. Unity is exactly, bro. Exactly. Unity. Pro-human, pro-whatever. If you human, I'm for you, bro. If you human and you ain't messing with no other humans, I'm for you. I want your life to go as greatly as it could be, because that's going to benefit me. I don't have all the answers, so I need y'all to be great, because I need to be inspired by y'all. I need to learn from y'all. I need to, I need to copy y'all. I need to imitate y'all. I need to follow y'all where y'all are right. Right? So I want all humans to reach their highest ideals, because it's best for me. Right? Yes, it's easier to suppress you guys, to use my intelligence, to manipulate, suppress everybody. That's easier. Well, no, it's not easier, because I've been in a cult. It takes a lot of work to keep up the mask. It takes a lot of work. Like, manipulating people is not like mass groups of people. It's not fun, bro. Like, it's not enjoyable. It's one of the reasons why, like, I waited so long to get fully in this. And I'm gonna be honest, if nothing ever happened to my daughter, I probably wouldn't even be in politics right now. I probably wouldn't even be thinking about this stuff, because I just know that the system is mostly manipulation. And if I was going to get into it, I was going to get into it this way. And I know that this is a hard way for somebody like me, right? If I wanted to amass power really quickly, I'll go get a haircut and talk the talking points, but better than everybody else can, right? Because clearly I can, narrate and speak good and preach and things like that. But I always knew that if I ever got involved with this, I was going to take this approach where I'm like, yo, we got to get to the root of things, and we got to dismantle the system, because it just doesn't work for us. It just doesn't work for most of us. Okay. There's a lot less people here at 7. I wanted to do earlier. I've been doing 9, and maybe people just expect it at 9 because it's been 9, and maybe the next couple times it'll go up. We'll see. But yeah, man, let's stay together. Let's keep thinking about this thing. Let's keep moving together. Thank you guys for messaging me. Thank you guys for following me. Thank you guys for all the comments. I put up a video today about how you guys can support through the GoFundMe. They're both paid and free. The GoFundMe, there's live subscriptions now. If you guys want to subscribe to the live, there are my Ko-fi. Pay what you want, Ko-fi. Put Cash up there. And then also there's a lot of free ways. Watching these lives, watching these videos. Stream my music, Mercy for Maya. That's one way to do it. But yeah, man. Hopefully you guys have a good night. I'm going to go here and spend some time with my kids before bedtime. But love you guys. Thank you guys for stopping by. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Peace.